Hey guys, this is official Creo, and today I'm making a tutorial on how to make a simple YouTube background. But first I just want to ask you guys for your opinion on my new intro. I actually made it myself and I'm pretty happy with it, so please tell me what you think. But anyways, this background is gonna look similar to this. It's pretty simple, but it still looks pretty cool, and focused on creating some nice background patterns and also some nice layer styles for the text. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so you just want to open up the template that you're using. If you don't have one, you can just search for it on YouTube, or maybe I can add one in the description or something. I'm just gonna delete these sort of fade layers because I'm not gonna need those. If you have those kind of stuff as well, you just want to delete those. So you have two layers, the backdrop and the content area layer. So you want to change the color of the background to black. So just go to your layer styles and apply a color overlay, and you want that color to be black. And then click OK. Then make a new layer on top of this one. So just click this icon down here, or you can just click Shift Control N and then click OK. Or I'm on a Mac, so it's for me it's Shift Command N. Okay, so now you want to pick your color that you want to use, and I'm gonna go with blue because blue always works. It's a nice color. But you really want to try to spend time finding the perfect color, because this is a pretty big part of your background, so you just want to make sure that you get it right. Okay, so when you have picked your color, you want to go to your brush tool, and you just want to grab one of the standard round brushes, and you want the size to be 1000 pixels and the hardness to be 0%. And now we're gonna paint a little on this layer. So you want to start off by if you see the contour of the brush, you sort of want to line it up so that the left part of the brush is lined up with the left part of the content area layer, and you want the top part of the brush to be aligned with the top part of the content area layer. So somewhere around here, and then you just want to click, and then you want to do the same thing on the other side. So make sure that the right side of the brush is aligned with the right side of the content area layer, and same thing with the top edge of the brush. Then just click again. So now you should have this pretty vague blue, sort of soft light around here, and that's what we want. So now what you want to do is you want to add a new layer on top of this, and choose black and white as your colors. So a nice tip is to just click this icon here. That will set black as your foreground color and white as your background color. Okay, so go to Filter, Render, and Clouds. Then you want to change the blend mode of this to Overlay. And now it's a little too heavy, so you can just decrease the opacity to around 35 or 40. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 40. So that will sort of add a bit of randomness to the background, so it's not as plain, as you can see. Okay, so now you want to make a new layer again, and I'm gonna zoom out for this. So you can just click Control 0 or Command 0. That will zoom out like this. Okay, so now we're gonna add I don't know if you saw it in the beginning, but the pattern that we had like this going diagonally. So to do that, you want to select your rectangle tool. If you can't see it, just click and hold. You will see this little menu. So just go to rectangle tool, and you want to make sure that the fill is set to white, and you don't want to have a stroke, so just leave that at 0. And now you just want to sort of drag out this very stretched rectangle like this, and you just want to make a bunch of these, and you want to make them a little bit random, so you don't want the width or the height to be the same on all of them, and you also want to change a little bit when it comes to the space in between them. So just make them look a little bit random like this, and you just want to continue doing this until you covered up the whole screen or the whole document. So you should have something like this. Now what you want to do is you want to merge all of these rectangles. So click on the top one, the top layer, and hold shift and go down to the bottom one. And then all of these should be selected. Then you just right click and go to rasterize layers, and then you right click again and go to merge layers. Now you want to rotate this. So to do that, you want to make sure that this layer is highlighted, and then go to edit, transform, and rotate. So you want to change this value to -45, and then you have to click enter twice. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that this pattern covers up the whole blue area. So we have to move this to the left a little bit. So you just grab your move tool and move it so that it covers up the left part of the blue area. But now you can see that there are still a little part of the blue area that is not covered here down to the right. So what you have to do is you have to duplicate this. So you just right click and go to duplicate layer and click OK. And you want to move this new one to the right. And the whole image or the whole document doesn't have to be covered, it's just the blue area. So this should be good. Now you want to merge these layers as well. So click on the top one, hold shift, and click on the bottom one. Right click and go to merge layers. Then you want to change the blend mode to overlay. And now you should get this very nice effect. And you want to bring down the opacity to around 25%. Now what you want to do is you want to duplicate this layer. So right click, duplicate, and click OK. And you want to move this top one to the right so that they sort of overlap each other. And then you should get this effect. It looks pretty nice. Okay, so now we are almost done with the background. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a texture. So I'm going to link you to a very nice texture that I use in a lot of my backgrounds in the description. So just go ahead and save that image, and then you want to open it up. Okay, so here it is. So what you want to do is you want to highlight the whole thing or select the whole thing. So just a quick way to do that is to click Control or Command and A. Then you want to go to Edit and Copy. Then you want to go to the background document, and you want to make a new layer on top of these pattern layers. And you want to go to Edit and Paste. Okay, so now this texture is way too big. So what you can do is you you can click Command or Control T. Now you will be able to move around and resize it if you want. So the first thing we're going to do is when I rotate it so that it's you want to rotate it around 90 degrees. It doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. And it is still too big, as you can see, so we're just gonna make this size a lot smaller. So just go to one of the corners, hold Shift and Alt, and then you just click and drag it towards the middle, and that should resize it sort of proportionally. So you want the texture to be roughly the same size as the background document. Then you can click Enter or Return on your keyboard, and you can also change the blend mode to overlay. I'm just going to zoom in a little so it's easier to see. Okay, so now the texture is a little bit too heavy, so what you can do is you can decrease the opacity to around 60%. And now we are almost done with the actual background. The last thing we want to do is add some color correction. So go to this, we're going to add an adjustment layer in order to do this. So first you want to make sure that black is your foreground color and white is your background color. Then go to this icon down here in the menu down to the right, the one in the middle. That's the adjustment layer icon, so click on that one and you should get this menu here. You want to click on gradient map, and if you go to this box right here, it's supposed to be black to white because that's what we set it up to be. But if it's not, just change this color here to the left to black, and the one to the right, that has to be white. Okay, then click OK. Alright, so again you want to change the blend mode to overlay, and that will add a lot of contrast because it will pretty much make the dark parts darker and the bright parts brighter. And this is way too heavy, so I'm going to decrease the opacity to around 50%. Should look something like this. And now we are pretty much done with the background. Now we're going to add the text, but first what I like to do is I like to add all of the background layers into a single group to keep things organized. So to do that, you just want to click on the top layer, not the content area layer, but the top layer that is a part of the background, if you know what I mean. And then hold Shift, click the bottom layer, and then you want to click on Control or Command and G on your keyboard. And that will add those layers into a group. So as I said, I want to keep things organized. So also what I like to do, this will keep down the file size because it can't be more than 1 megabyte. So in order to do that, you can add a color overlay to the content area layer, because now we have a bunch of gradients and stuff, and that takes up a lot of unnecessary memory. So just go to the layer styles and apply a black color overlay and click OK. OK again. Okay, so now we're gonna add the text. So just make sure that the foreground color is set to white, and then just grab your text tool. And again, just make sure that this color is set to white. And now you just want to add whatever text you want to use. I'm just gonna make it say tutorial. Okay, and you want to choose whatever font you prefer. This font is called Need for Fonts, so it's pretty much Need for Speed based. So just add your text, and you want to make sure that it is roughly around this size. So now it's set to 100, but it's different from font to font. So make sure that it is roughly around this size. And then you want to rotate it so it's sort of aligned vertically instead of horizontally. So to do that, you can just go to, you want to select the text and go to Edit, Transform, and Rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. And you just want to move it so you want to align it here on the left side. And I think it's a little too big because it pretty much covers up the whole blue area, and you still want to be able to see a little bit of that blue. So I'm gonna just decrease the size a little bit. Alright, 80, that works for me. But again, it's different from font to font and also how much text you have. But you still want to be able to see a little bit of the blue. And now we're going to add the layer styles to this text. So double click on this layer to bring up the layer styles, and then change the fill opacity to 65%. Then add an inner glow. Change the opacity to 100%, the color to white, and for the size, this is sort of, you have to have a nice feeling for this, so you don't want it to be too small so the inner glow just sort of touches the edge of the text, and you don't want it to be too big either because then it will cover up the whole text. So you want to have this nice balance, so it's sort of covering maybe half of the letters, if you know what I mean. So 13 works nice for me, but this also depends on how thick your text is, but you just want to play around with the settings a little bit till you get a nice result. And also you want to add a drop shadow to this layer and change the distance to 0, the spread to 15, and the size to 15 as well. There you can click OK. Now you want to duplicate this layer. So click Command or Control J, or just right click and go to duplicate layer. Then you want to go to the bottom one and you want to size this one up. So click Command or Control T, and if you want to resize it, again you want to hold Shift and Alt and just click and drag in one of those corners, and that should size it up like this proportionally. And that's pretty good. Then you can click Enter. Then what you have to do is you have to add this layer into a group. So if you go down here, you should see this group shaped, or this folder shaped icon. So just click that, and you want to drag this text into that group. You want to make sure that you select the group and not the layer. So select the group and change the blend mode to overlay. Alright, so that's pretty much it. We're pretty much done now, but as you can see in the beginning, I also had text on the right side, and if you want that, what you can do is you can add all of the text layers into a group. So again, go to the top one, hold Shift, go to the bottom one, and then you can click Command or Control G on your keyboard to create a group. Now you can duplicate this group, so just right click, duplicate group, and click OK. And you have to rotate this group 180 degrees. So go to Edit, Transform, rotate 180 degrees. And you just want to grab your Move tool and move it to the other side. And you want to make sure that the distance from the content area layer to the text is about the same on both sides. So we have to move this one a little bit more to the right. And that's looking pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. If you want me to make more tutorials, please give me some suggestions on what tutorials to make, and I would appreciate that. Just one quick tip before I leave. When you want to save the background, go to File and Save for Web, and this will keep down the file size. So make sure that the preset is set to PNG24, and the maximum file size limit is 1 megabyte, and now it's just over 600 kilobytes, so we are pretty much clear. Okay, so make sure that you do this when you save the background, because that will keep down the file size. But yeah, so thanks for watching this tutorial, and as I said, give me some more tutorial suggestions, because I really want to make more tutorials but don't know what to make tutorials on. But yeah, so thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.